What's good, Knicks Nation? Man, a lot to talk about tonight. Well, two good topics tonight. I'm gonna narrow it down. We're gonna talk about whether or not the Knicks overachieved. I wrote a blog on this entry. A lot of people seem to believe that the Knicks overachieved. We're gonna get to the bottom of that on tonight's show. Did they underachieve? Some people say, "Hey, this Knicks team underachieved as well." We'll also talk about the whole stars having to win championships as the Indiana Pacers are now up 2-1 against the OKC Thunder. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit more. And then if I have a little bit of time, I'm going to also open up the phone lines. So we'll talk about that tonight on the After Midnight Show. Welcome to the After Midnight Stream. I am your host, Karan Pierre, the Objective Fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, y'all. And welcome to the show. Some interesting stuff going on in the world of the NBA. The Knicks are still the hottest news item to the point where I forgot there was a game tonight. But before I get cooking, I want to give a salute to some of you guys in the building. I see you, Crim's Dad, in the building early. Talking about underachieved, overachieved. I actually have a poll on this on the channel as well. If you guys didn't get a chance to vote for it, you can in the community section of this channel. And you know what I'll do? I'll start off the show by showing you guys exactly how the community felt, We got over 400 votes on this poll. And I think we might have talked about this on the podcast. So did the Knicks overachieve during the 24-25 season and playoffs? 433 votes. The overwhelming majority, 52%, said yes. Okay. So, yeah, you guys believe that we overachieved. Now, I have a blog here that I wrote. And it's basically breaking down one of the items we'll be talking about. So what I'll do, right, I'll unpack this and then I'll open the phone lines up if you guys do want to call. And then if I have time, I'll probably close out touching on the whole superstar thing because a lot of people, are feeling the Pacers right now. Right, they think the Pacers are going to win the championship, and they possibly can. Still doesn't change my premise, but let's start here for now. Right, we're gonna unpack this. All right. So, did the Knicks overachieve? Why the narrative misses the mark? Okay, and it's funny. Like a lot of you guys in the chat, you guys are into, independent media and stuff like that. But we get a lot of our narratives from old school or traditional media, mainstream narratives. So every time the New York Knicks achieve something significant, there seems, hold on, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it a little better. Okay. Every time the New York Knicks achieve something significant, there seems to be a narrative that follows. They overachieve, they overperformed, or they underperformed. This has become a lazy talking point in sports media, and frankly, it misses the point. Here's my stance. Expectations are not facts. They are guesses, assumptions, and projections, nothing more. Expectations are influenced by media bias, betting lines, preseason rankings, and popular opinion. But in the unpredictable world of sports, they can often be way off the mark, right? So when someone claims the Knicks overachieved in the 24-25 season, I ask according to whose expectations, right? So everyone had a perspective and thought process. How many of you guys felt like the Knicks were going to win? Like I remember AP said on the podcast, the Knicks were going to win 57 games, right? I remember he was really high on that, right? And we even said on when I did my 10 keys show, or 10 keys, my 10 reasons or predictions for the season, and I said I think the Knicks could win 55 plus games. They didn't get to that mark, so does that mean that they underachieved? You know, everyone has a different standard. ESPN had us winning 49 games, right? Well, it was around 40 something. I think Bleacher Report had us around the same number too coming into the season. When we say that we overachieved or underachieved, do understand that we're not even only using our own standards. We're using the old media. And why are we going by what they have to say? Why are we going by what they have to say? And the reality of the matter is, and this has been a saying in sports for the longest time, you are what your record is. So if you win the champion, you are the best team. The regular season standings does not tell you who's the best team. It only gives you your ranking in the real season, which is the playoffs. Okay? So I'm trying to understand, like, especially the fans, the 52% that voted and said that, you know, we are overachievers, right? Is that based on your standard, or is that based on what Stephen A. Smith and these guys are telling you? It's nonsense. You know what I'll do? So what I'll do, guys, I'm gonna drop the number in the chat. So if you guys want to call up and spend some time, I'm not gonna go too long, also because I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm gonna allow you guys to call up tonight. Let me just put the number in the chat right now. But what are you guys thinking? Did I change your mind? Are you still hell bent on the Knicks overachieving, underachieving? Salute to Yuri in the building. I see you. J-Tap says the team playing the best in the playoffs win the chip. That's a fact. And to me, that's all that really matters. Hold on, y'all. Let me okay. Call in, putting the number in there now. Call in 646-995-8389. Hold on. Just correct my spelling. Call in number. Cool. So I'm curious to see, you know, how you guys feel about this topic. We got our first caller. Hello, caller. State your name. Where you calling from? Caller? Give me 2 seconds so I can make the adjustment. Of course, the phone lines got to trip out. I don't know why the phone line's always tripping out. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds, y'all. Let me just make this tweak. Okay. Caller, can you hear me?
Yo.
Hey, how's it going? State your name. Where you calling from?
What's good, brother? It's JJ from Brooklyn, man. How you feeling,
JJ
man?
from Brooklyn, man.
What
Hey,
up?
man,
What up, man?
I'm feeling pretty all right. I had a pretty exciting day. Very
Nice.
interested.
Nice.
So I figured let me just hit the live button and talk to you people tonight. I wrote this blog. Did the Knicks overachieve, underachieve? You know, why it misses the mark. What is your take on the Knicks season as far as overachieving, underachieving?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Like, I would probably say if I could, like somewhere. I'm kind of like in the middle. Like
Okay.
to me, it's like under and overachieving. I think
Right.
the most frustrating part to me was just you never want to be eliminated by the same team back-to-back seasons.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
like that, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like that's kind of what, you know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, to me that just makes it that much more, I guess, like aggravating because it's like, a lot of people said, "Oh, if we were healthy last year," and I do feel that if we were healthy in the playoffs versus Indiana, that we would have beat them.
Yeah.
But obviously, this is a different team now, though. So I think last year's team matched up much better with this Pacers squad.
Right.
So I felt like if we ran that team back, we definitely would have had a much better chance than this roster to beat Indiana. Because I think you beat Indiana with toughness and physicality, and those are things that that team, that we had last
Yeah.
year. And then with the
Yeah.
trades, we kind of became like, a finesse team.
Right.
So,
So
you know,
right. So you're kind of in the middle
I'm kind of in
based
the
off of
middle.
the
Yeah,
Pacers
like,
performance. But do that
yeah,
is what I'm saying making sense. Like you are what your record is, right? So
right, right,
old media tells us who's supposed to be good, who's supposed to be bad.
right,
They got these rankings, they got these panel shows where people are
right,
on there
right,
giving their opinions. And all it is a like when you really think about it, it's a collection of predictions. So like when they come out with their rankings and all these things, it's not the holy grail, right? It's not.
right, right.
So also too, like when we look at the regular season, this is why I always joke about the Cleveland Cavaliers being the regular season champions, right?
Facts, right. Yeah,
Not to be
yeah,
confused with the in-season tournament. The regular season, the main purpose of it is to give you your positioning for the postseason.
right,
Just because you're the number one team and I was going to do unfiltered thought on this, but I'm going to touch on some of it now. Just because you're the number one team in the regular season doesn't mean you're the best team in the conference or in the league.
right.
Doesn't mean that. The
Yeah,
best team, and I know a lot of you going to disagree. Where my man Knicks will be chance 25-26. I think you might disagree with this, but in my opinion, or how I see it, is that the team that wins the championship is the best team. I don't care about your excuse. We all got excuses when we lose. The bottom line is, in history, when we look back at it, we're going to see who won the championship, who lost the championship. That's it.
right. That's it.
And I'm going to go through the list of champions a little bit later when I talk about the whole superstar thing, because I know people going crazy right now. Oh, Indiana's going to win. They don't got the
Oh,
All NBA first team or the MVP, right? I'm going to touch on that a little bit later. But
yeah,
okay, so you're
uh,
kind of caught in the middle.
yeah. I'm kind of
Now
caught in the
also
middle.
another thing too,
Uh huh.
JJ, like
Uh huh.
when we say overachieve, that's based on your. It could also just be based on your projection. So where did you
Right.
have us coming into the season this season?
I kind of had. I think my win prediction was around 50, and
Okay,
I kind of thought I didn't think we were gonna get as far as we did. So in that sense, I guess, it does lean more towards, you know, uh, I guess like
over.
successful, like, yeah. So I
Okay,
mean,
right.
I just think I'm just like, yeah. I mean, you make two big trades, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you don't make those two big blockbuster moves to, not make it farther than you did the previous season. So we did make it
Mm-hmm.
farther, but it still ended with a lot of pain. You know what I'm saying? And seeing the Pacers 2 wins away, I'm gonna be sick, man. I can't even front. If I see the Pacers,
Yeah.
oh man, I can't. I can't.
Okay. Yeah.
I,
Okay. So based
I'm,
on your own projections, they overachieve. And that,
yeah,
and
right,
and to me that's a fair way of looking at it, right? But when we want to
right,
make it like we want to go with the old media narrative and what their predictions are and say, well, based on their predictions, that makes them overachievers. I have a problem with that because everyone saw it differently. Some guys in this chat thought we were going to win 60 games, right?
Right.
Some guys thought we were going to win 47. So who's right?
Right.
You know, it's all
Yeah.
subjective. So like one of the things about
Right.
me as the objective fan, right? Pun intended here, that I try to deal with a universal standard, right? Like for example, there's no way to compare Jordan and LeBron, right? They played in two
Right.
different eras, right? But what
Right.
I do is one of my ways of making the comparison is I look at who was more dominant in their era, who was more dominant against their competition. And then I weigh that and I say, well, Jordan prevented many top 50 or greats of all times from winning the championship.
Facts. Oh yeah.
LeBron, they all won against LeBron. All his contemporaries, got championships, and a lot of them got it against him. So
Yeah. Yeah.
based on that comparison, I'm going with Jordan versus trying to actually look at just stats or look at, if they were on the court together. There's no way to really see that. Like that's
Right.
not, reality. So that's how I
Yeah.
try to look at the game. Now, I know you don't want to talk about Indiana too much, but my other thing I'm gonna touch on a little bit later towards the end is this whole superstar winning championships. Does Indiana give you,
Mm-hmm.
if they win? I mean, we don't want them to win, but if
Oh
they
heck
did
no.
win, do they give you I don't want to say inspiration, but a model that this Knick team could follow them and not have the MVP, not have the first teamer,
Right.
have a deep bench.
Right. I was
Are you
thinking that.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's funny because I was actually thinking that, like, will this deter teams from kind of going for like the big three? Like, will teams try and almost copycat Indiana? Like, let's just get depth all over. Let's just be 2, 3 deep at every position. Like, you wouldn't really say they have superstars if you want to call Halliburton that. He's definitely showing he's clutch and but Siakam, he's like all-star-ish, right? Like
Yeah.
he's not like
Yeah.
every year all-star. So I wonder if
Right.
like this will say maybe we don't need a big three. Maybe we need like a big 1.5 or a big two and then
Mm-hmm.
get depth everywhere else.
Right. Right.
I'm
Okay.
curious if teams will kind of copy that in a sense, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
We'll see. We'll see. We'll
but
see. I mean,
yeah.
the series isn't over, but
Yeah, I'm
I can
praying,
see a
man.
bunch of little Indian. I can see a bunch of little Indians running around. But I'll let you get your final thoughts off, man.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely praying that OKC, you know, pulls this out, but it's gonna be tough. The last thing, though, real quick, this coaching
Yeah, get your
search.
last point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this coaching search. I think it's embarrassing. I think it's
Oh,
shameful. I think it's
yeah.
pitiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a disgrace.
Yo, I'm glad
This
you
is
said
one of the
that.
most. This is one of the
Uh,
most embarrassing times I've had as a Knicks fan.
oh my God. I'm glad you said that
This
because if I
is
said that, I would be the
this is
Leon Rose hater.
this is asinine. It's literally, they should be ashamed of themselves. You're going for
Mm,
coaches that have jobs on great teams, and you think teams are just going to say, here's permission. It's super
mm-hmm.
disrespectful. Good luck when you want to make a trade now with, say, Minnesota Edwards. Say in a couple of years he demands a trade. Who is Minnesota not going to trade him to? The Knicks. You know why? Because we tried to be little snakes, little curly snakes, and try and get their coach. It's
Damn.
embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Mm.
It's pitiful.
I was saving the coach stuff for Friday on the call-up show. We definitely that's going to be Friday's topic.
They
I'm giving
should be
them a couple of days
ashamed.
to work it out. Hopefully they got a new coach by then. But yeah,
They
we
should be
definitely going to talk
ashamed of
about the coaching
themselves.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is shameful.
it's
Shameful.
shameful, man.
Straight up,
Man. All
man.
right, JJ. I appreciate you,
All right,
man.
man. Appreciate
We're
you,
going to
brother.
talk more
Thanks a
about the
lot.
coaching on Friday, man. I appreciate the
Word,
call up.
word. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Appreciate
Salute.
you, man. Salute, man.
Salute.
Peace.
All right. So that was my man, JJ. I got my man Yuri about to get up in here. Hold on. Let me make sure. Okay. Get Yuri on. Hello, caller. State your name. Where you calling
This
from?
is the one and only Yuri.
Let's go, Yuri. What's up, man? So
You
I got two topics tonight. I'm talking about. The first
hit
is
me
the
up.
overachieving, right? So a lot of people, 52% of the fans that voted on my poll in the community section said that the Knicks overachieved this season. What say you?
I don't think they overachieved. If anything, I think they underachieved. I'm going off the
Okay.
underachieve because you had this. You made two big trades. You made a trade for Mikal Bridges. You made a trade for Karl Anthony Towns, right? I predicted they would only get 50 wins or 50 wins around that.
Okay.
Because I was going by logistics. I was going by the year one, this core, the nucleus, right? We were still running it back with Coach Tibbs. And I know Coach Tibbs' habits about the starters, him not using the bench and the way we were dealing with injuries early. I knew we weren't going to win that many games due to what happened. So I predicted around 50 wins. I definitely didn't predict around 45 wins, though. I predicted around 50.
Some people had some low expect. I mean, it was arranged, man.
So for the regular season, I had 50 wins. The wins that Knicks usually get around the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me was the regular season ball, which they achieved, right? I would have loved to have 54 wins this season.
Right. We predicted 55 on the expectation video I did last year.
Right. And I said 50, remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I said 50. Now going into the playoffs, we definitely overachieved in the playoffs. Definitely. I'm going to tell you why. Nobody had us beating the Pistons. We beat the Pistons. Nobody had us beating the Celtics. We beat the Celtics. But everyone had the Pacers beating the Knicks. And guess what? That was our series for the taking. But Eastern Conference Finals was our ceiling, and they achieved that. So I say they underachieved in the regular season, overachieved in the playoffs. This was your chance to go to the finals this year. And they blew it. So that's my take on the topic.
So are you basing this on just your rankings, or are you following the old media narrative?
My rankings.
Okay. Because that's the fairest way to look at it and realize that it's a subjective standard that everyone is going to have a different take based on what your prediction was. Right?
Yeah, my take was different. Right?
Right. Okay.
And what's the second topic?
So my second topic is, but hold on, before I get to the second topic, I want to say this. The Knicks, to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they succeeded my expectations. Yes, I didn't, predict they'll get past Boston, but I also thought that they would see Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. I didn't think Cleveland would be what Cleveland was, a regular season dream.
Right,
so
we all didn't.
Yeah, we all didn't see that, but I just think that we all are happy that the team played as well as it did. I mean, of course, we're disappointed we lost to Indiana, but we're still happy that we got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
So I see it as we're just well, now that the coach change is happening, I don't know what the hell is going to happen. But prior to the coach change, I felt like we were a good team on the right track.
We still are a good team, and we're still on the right track.
We'll see what happens.
Listen, I am nervous for the future. But I'm excited about it at the same time.
Okay, so next topic, right? So next topic. So I know a lot of you guys in the chat, probably in the Discord, or whoever everywhere who watch the content, you guys are gonna be
I've been
coming for
watching
me
Unfiltered
because
Talk, so I'm all caught up on it, by the way.
yeah, but you guys are coming for me because I made a claim about MVPs and first teamers winning championships. And right now, Indiana is looking to defy the odds.
Right. So,
Go ahead. What's your take? What's your take on that?
so this is how I feel about it, right? You're gonna have a team that has low expectations. It could be the Knicks, it could be Indiana, it could be Boston, it could be any of those teams, right? The way I feel about it is the way this team is built, we were built for the finals. And I believe this team, the way it is now, no changes bearing, can make the finals. I
Well,
believe
but you said no changes bearing, right? You said no changes,
I said no changes bearing,
but they made
but
a change. They changed the coach. That's a
they make
change.
fine, whatever.
I'm just
But
saying
I don't.
that's a change. That changes a lot. New system. We don't know. We don't know what the hell this new coach is.
I'm
We don't
gonna
know who he
comment
is.
on the coaching search. I don't think it's a bad thing, right? Many
Okay.
people, because that's Knicks for clicks right there. You know what I mean? That's Knicks for clicks.
Okay.
I'm
But
sorry.
let's get back to the first teamers because we're gonna talk about coaching on Friday.
So
I'm
we're
giving
doing that
them a
on
couple
Friday.
of days. I'm giving them a couple of days to clean up their act, but it's not looking too good. But let's get back to the first teamers because I see the chat. You guys are under the impression that you don't need a first teamer or MVP to win, right?
Yeah. Right.
And we're basing that on Indiana.
I'm basing that in general.
Okay, in general. Okay.
In general. I'm basing that in general, not on Indiana. Because I had Indiana as a sleeper team this year. Despite, the whole struggles they were going through in regular season. Right?
Yeah, regular season the regular season doesn't matter.
Into playoffs. But my point is that
No, but it doesn't matter because it just gives you positioning for the real season, which is the postseason. That's what matters.
Listen,
how you do in the playoffs, because that's what leads to championship. Go ahead.
We're entering a new era in the NBA now. You
Right.
got both teams who don't have all-team MVP, besides OKC, obviously, right?
OKC, yes.
With the MVP, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all-team first time.
Right.
We're entering a new era in the NBA where if Indiana does win this series,
okay,
does win the finals, not only does it establish them as a team, but other teams are going to look to copy that format.
Okay.
Basically, there will be no such thing as a big three no more.
Teams I never talked about it. I never talked about a big three. That's not my position at all.
Okay.
Yeah, my position is you need a first teamer, MVP to win the championship, and this series will not change that because we have another example in the last 44 years. Now, tonight I'm gonna go beyond 44 years. Tonight we're gonna go back to the 60s and 70s. So now I'm gonna make it even worse. We're gonna go further back in time to see about this MVP first teamer,
right?
Because historically, the NBA is built on star players.
Right, and
you need star players to win championships. If you do not have star players, right, you can grind and you could try to fight your way through, but Indiana is an aberration. So any team thinking they're going to copy Indiana and think that...
I'm not going to say not copy, but more teams are going to get inspired to follow Indiana's footsteps. They're not going to follow Indiana's blueprint, right? They're going to follow Indiana's way to do it.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is, for example, you can look at, I'm going to give a team besides Indiana. I'm going to use our team, for example, right? Okay.
You're going to use our team? What we going to do? We going. I mean, I go there. Go
Just
ahead.
let me cook. You gotta let me cook.
Let you cook. Yeah. Let me not. I save that for unfiltered thought. Go ahead.
You gotta let me cook.
Mm-hmm.
So our team, we have Jalen Brunson. We got Cat.
Yes.
You know, shout out to the captain, Big Bodega.
Salute. I love those guys.
You know, we got Mikal Bridges. We got Josh Hart. You know, we got OG Anunoby. That team alone, that starting five alone, takes you to the Eastern Conference Finals, as it did before, right? I felt like what really held this team back this year, and I've been a Tip supporter, right, for a while. I really did feel like the coaching held us back this year. Now, you could blame some of the players, right? I'm not going to say blame the coach. I always will say the players do take a fault in that, right? But mainly it was the coaching that held us back. I believe, right,
Okay.
with the change going to the coach, right, that being the only big change, right? I don't
Okay.
think any other changes to the roster. I think this team will be fully improved, will be
Okay.
fully ready to go out in the regular season.
So well on. So that means that because the coach was the issue, that we're going to win the championship, right?
I believe we will get to the finals next year.
Okay, because a lot of people, well, I'm going to say a lot of people. Some people felt like the poll that I put in the community section today about true or false, if Coach Tibbs is the reason why we don't win the championship, or let's just make it finals. If Coach Tibbs is the reason why we did not go to the finals, so next year we should go to the finals now that he's no longer here, right? Isn't that basic logic?
Basic logic, yes. I'm not going to deny that.
Okay. So I just want to say this too, right? I got on the screen the standings. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, they got an All-NBA first teamer in Donovan Mitchell. Say what you want about him.
That kid can play.
He's a great player, but I'm still not high on Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's going to win the championship, but they do got that criteria. Boston Celtics have it, but their guy's going to miss the entire year, right? And then of course Milwaukee with Giannis, you just never know what the hell can happen with those guys, right? But Giannis is a beast.
The whole thing I feel like with the Knicks this year, right? I just felt like the Knicks were just outclassed by the Pacers. With Carlisle,
listen, we gotta face it. The Pacers are a better team than the Knicks. Period.
That's what I said. I not call it even before
the Pacers.
Wait, call on. No, I gotta toot my own horn. Did I not call it? A while back.
Listen, the only reason why I'm saying that though is because they beat us.
Listen, no. Go on. Don't change the subject. Did I not tell you? Yo, I wouldn't sleep on them Pacers, man, in the playoffs.
No, you did. No, you did. But I'm only saying that because they beat us. I am a firm believer in you are who your record is. Period. Right. I don't care about no excuses. They try to take away the Boston Celtic victory from us. Oh, Tatum was hurt. We beat an injured Boston team.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
So
that I don't buy.
You could say that about everyone in the playoffs. Everyone has faced the team that was hurt. Indiana faced Cleveland, and they faced
even Tyrese Halliburton's dealing with an injury right now.
Right. So what are we talking about? No, you are what your record is. If the Pacers win the championship, they're the best team. Period. I don't care about regular season accolades. And like I said, the regular season is just designed to get you positioned in the playoffs. So you see first seed, all these wins, right? We get caught up in all these regular season wins. It don't always translate to the postseason. The best team wins-wise was the Warriors. They won 73 games. They did not win the championship.
Now,
period.
Listen. Is that the topic you want to talk? Because
those are my two topics for tonight. But I want to chime in on the superstar part again. Like, the model will always be the model, and on the podcast, we're gonna be touching base like going forward because I'm gonna be doing content on this next stuff. I don't see myself stopping. We're gonna keep an eye on the Los Angeles Lakers. They got Luka Doncic, right? And a lot of people, even some Laker fans, didn't understand the move. Oh, why would we trade Max Christie? And why we got to trade this and that? The move is not about today. The move is about the next 6 years. He's going to be in his prime for another 6 years playing at a high level. The Lakers are going to get another superstar to go with him. And they're going to win a championship because that's the model that consistently works throughout history. So
Right.
you can try to think, you could try to come with your team and, oh yeah, we're going to get 2 or 3 guys per position. First off, Rick Carlisle is a really great coach. He's maximizing the potential out of these guys that the overwhelming majority of coaches could not make certain adjustments that he's
At all.
making.
So, shout out to Rick Carlisle, you know what I mean?
Right, you got to give a salute to Rick Carlisle, but to say that going forward we're gonna not get a superstar, we're gonna okay, we don't need a superstar to win a championship. I don't think that that's just the right. And when I say superstar, I'm talking about MVP, All NBA first teamer. I love Jalen Brunson. I'm gonna do a video on the other side, right? I'm gonna try to be the optimistic fan. I'm gonna do a video on Jalen Brunson stepping his game up, and he has the potential to be a first teamer, right? And he honestly should have been a first teamer. I always said that that's the rebuttal for me with the Knicks. Hey, you got him. He's right here. His name is Jalen Brunson.
I will say, I'm going to touch on a coaching topic just for 1 second, then I'll talk more about it on Friday.
Okay.
Listen, I don't mind the Knicks going after coaches that have jobs. Matter of fact, I ain't got no problem with it. I don't. I'm sorry. Call me a Leon lover. Call me whatever it takes. I believe that's all smoke and mirrors.
I hope so.
I hope that's all smoke and mirrors. Come on, Leon ain't that freaking stupid. And apparently I heard.
I hope so.
And apparently I heard, according to Big Nick Energy, right? Shout out to Big Nick Energy, by the way. He's been providing the actual information for us, right? Apparently the Knicks front office has been on vacation. You know, so
I don't know. I don't know. That's weird.
I'm sorry, I don't buy these reports. I'm sorry. I don't buy it.
Hey, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I buy the reports. I do. And as long as they got sources, I'm buying a report. But I'm gonna let you get your final word on this topic. Friday, we're gonna talk more about the code. Friday is the call-up show, y'all. It's gonna be the normal show. This is a show that's about these 2 topics. And I'm gonna unpack it a little bit more. But I'm gonna let you to get your final thoughts out.
Yeah,
and let the people know how you feel. Go ahead.
My final thoughts are on how I feel about the team in general. I'm still hopeful. Matter of fact, I'm hopeful we'll have a coach by next week.
Okay.
And I'm hopeful that this team will regroup, get it together, come back next season, and boom.
Okay. I'm hopeful. I'm hoping for that too. I'm a Knicks fan, so yeah, I want that.
But you're a realistic fan, so it's fun having these conversations.
Yeah, but I'm gonna no, like, so what it is for me, and I'll let you go. I'm the same hot seat that Tibbs was about to be on. I got Leon Rose on the hot seat. So
Leon Rose is not on a hot seat. I hate to tell you that, brother.
No. I'm talking about my hot seat.
Oh,
I'm talking about me doing content.
Oh,
I'm not allowing. Listen, I'm not allowing nothing to slide like I did in the past. I'm not allowing nothing to slide. No. So we need to see championship moves, and that's what I expect to see because I believe in the great Leon Rose, man. But thank you, Yuri, man. I appreciate you for calling up, man.
Always.
Salute, man. See you on Friday. That was Yuri, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel member. Keep the calls coming. 646-995-8389. If you want to give your opinion about the 2 topics. I do want to unpack the superstar stuff though, because now I'm gonna go deeper into my bag because the Indiana Pacers, and by the way, if you're new, the premise that I had was and I go into the bigger screen. The premise that I had was that in order to win a championship based on the list of champions throughout history for the last 44 years, each and every single team had an All-NBA first teamer or MVP leading the helm. That's not a big three. You don't need a big three, right? You don't need two All-NBA first teamers, right? But the model for success in the NBA is a star-driven league. That's why they keep talking about who's the face, right? It goes back to you need these guys to win. Now, every single All-NBA first team, nor does every MVP win the championship. No. But when you look into history, and that's what I'm going to do right now, now we're going to take a little brief trip into history because I need you guys to understand what's about to happen. Now, I know the Oklahoma City Thunder are down. Let's give the Pacers the championship. I'm willing to jump the gun. Indiana Pacers win the championship. Cool. So we got our first team, right? In 21 years that won the championship, right? Without having that qualification. You go back to the Detroit Pistons. But a lot of people forget that they had a really great coach in Larry Brown, the same way the Pacers have a really great coach in Rick Carlisle. So our beloved Knicks have to get a coach that hopefully is great or will be great. Let's see what happens with that. But Larry Brown is a legend. They also had 4 All-Stars, and they had a Defensive Player of the Year, and they had the best defense in basketball, something that the Knicks don't have. Something that the Pacers don't have. But the Pacers do have a really great coach in Rick Carlisle and a really great team. But we could go through history, and I did this before. If you want to look at the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, multiple All-NBA first teamer. Jokic was an MVP and first teamer. Golden State, Steph Curry, best point guard in NBA history. Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis, the guy who I want on the Knicks. Yes, I want Giannis on the Knicks. Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James. Toronto Raptors, Kawhi Leonard, first teamer. Okay. Golden State, you already know Golden State. Cleveland, LeBron. Golden State. Okay, let's keep it moving. Spurs, LeBron again. Dallas, Dirk was an MVP, right? Not that year, but he was an MVP, first teamer. Los Angeles Lakers, you already know Kobe Bean Bryant, right? You want me to keep going down the list? Stars win championships. And no, I'm going to take you guys further down the list. By the way, call up 646-995-8389. Okay? This was the big 3 Boston Celtics with Paul Pierce, KG, Hall of Fame legends. I'm going to keep it moving. Okay? San Antonio Spurs again. Miami. So where's throughout this miss in the 2000, where is the Indiana Pacers? Why I don't got an Indiana Pacers here where they got maybe 2 All-Stars and a good bench? Where's these teams in history? Right? San Antonio Spurs, Detroit Pistons, like we just talked about, they're the only team that didn't have a first team or MVP. San Antonio Spurs, Los Angeles Lakers, right? Shaq, Kobe, Duncan. What do you want me to say? Chicago Bulls. Okay, the 90s is very easy because it's just 2 champions, and then the Detroit Pistons won it in the early 90s. Okay? What more do you want me to say? Right? We could keep the list going. Los Angeles Lakers. Okay? Boston Celtics, Larry Bird. Okay. Dr. J. Okay. How far back do you want to go? Right? How far back do you want to go? When you go back in history, this is what is required to win championships for years. Okay? I didn't make up the standard. I'm just telling you what the standard is. Right? We could look at the Seattle Supersonics. This is 1979. Seattle Supersonics. What we're going to do, we're going to go to Basketball Reference because it's very easy to see it on there. I don't like Wikipedia. I'm going to go back to the beginning of history, right? And we're going to analyze this stuff. Oh, hopefully, oh, my fault. You guys couldn't see it. Hold on. Let me try to get my mind right. Hold on. I don't know why it's showing like that. All right. Let me try to get this right. My fault. Hopefully you guys can see it a little better. Yeah, hold on. This overlay doesn't do a good job with the screen share. All right. I'm going to try something different. I know what I'm going to do. Back out. Okay. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right. That should help. It's smaller, but now you can see all the stuff on the screen. Okay, cool. So now I'm looking at the Seattle Supersonics. I'm going to go back to, back in the days when they won the championship, right? And we're going to pull that team up. Because y'all think I'm playing when I say you need star players to win championships. Right? Okay, cool. So all right, so we got Dennis Johnson. Okay. Was Dennis Johnson the defensive player of the year? Finals MVP, 3 times NBA champ. Wow. I didn't know Dennis Johnson was all of that. But okay, so Dennis Johnson at the time wasn't an NBA first teamer, but he became an NBA first teamer. I don't know if you want to count that or credit that, but Dennis Johnson wasn't a first teamer when he won the championship, but he became a championship. He became a first teamer. DJ was nice. So, I mean, I wasn't sure if he was a first teamer before he won the championship. That's why I'm looking it up. I ain't gonna cap. Because now this is way before my time. All right. This is like back in history. I'm having fun with it. But Dennis Johnson was an all-NBA first teamer, which makes the Boston Celtics even more crazier because then they got a dude that it's like those teams in the 80s. I mean, that it wasn't fair. Like, this is crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going back in time. Right? Wes Unseld, I'm pretty sure he was a first teamer. Listen, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he was a first teamer. I could look it up, right? I just don't know if he was a first teamer when he won the championship. Yeah, definitely a first teamer, right? Wes Unseld was definitely a first teamer. Okay, so let's keep it going. So now we in the 70s. Okay, so we in the 70s now. Let me go back. All right, and I'm gonna fact check myself to make sure if there's somebody who I don't recognize, I'm gonna look it up, right? If I'm not sure. Bill Walton. I'm pretty sure Bill Walton was a first teamer. Not sure, but we're gonna look it up. Why not? Bill Walton, let's see. All NBA first team. See that? So we in 78 right now. And my standard still holds true. You don't win a champion without these guys. So you guys thinking the Knicks are going to go forward and reinvent the wheel because, yay, the Indiana Pacers are going to win a championship. You only got 2 teams. And how many years we at right now? We're about to get to 50 years. You got 2 teams in 50 years that won a championship without an all-NBA first team or MVP. And you guys want me to get hyped like, yeah, the Knicks can do it too. It happened twice. It took 21 years for it to happen again. If it happens, I'm acting like the Indiana Pacers won the champ. They ain't win yet. They ain't win it yet, but let's just go with the narrative that they won, right? So we're going to keep going back in it. And then once I'm going to get back to history, you're going to start to see the Knicks and you're going to see the Celtics. And then we know from there that the formula holds true going back to the early days of basketball. So now we get into Boston days. You got Boston Celtics, Tommy Heinsohn. Rick Barry, I already know he's a first teamer. John Havlicek and all these Boston dudes, all first teamers. Willis Reed was the last time. Willis Reed is the only MVP we ever had in our franchise, and that was 55 years ago. 55 years ago. Willis Reed is the only MVP. And you wonder why in 50 years the Knicks hadn't won a championships. and y'all want me to sit here. So hold on. I'm coming out. So y'all want me to sit here and be happy going into next season, right? Trying to reinvent a formula that hadn't worked only twice in 50 years if Indiana won, right? In over 50 years. But look, you know what happens. Hold on. Before I go on this last little rant, by the way, if you guys want to call up and try to debunk me or whatever you want to do, 646-995-8389. But you're not arguing with me. You're arguing with history right now. That's what you're arguing with, right? So we at the New York Knicks in 73. Lakers, you already know, Wilt Chamberlain, Lou Alcindor, right? This is before he was even Kareem. Okay, Knicks, Celtics. I don't know this. I ain't gonna cap. I don't know who was on the Sixers, but this dude, I'm pretty sure this dude was a first teamer. We're in the 60s, right? Just to be thorough, I'm gonna look this dude up. Alex Henneman. I don't even know who this dude is. Never heard of him before in my life. Okay, we gonna look this dude up. I'm pretty sure this dude was a first teamer. Let's see. Oh wait, that's the coach. I'm bugging. That's why I never heard of him. Hold on. Who's the player on the team? My bad. Listen, man, I'm in uncharted territory. Okay, I was not thought of in the 60s. All right, my dad was probably a couple of years old at this point. Okay, so this is before my time. Who was the MVP? Oh, they didn't list the MVPs. Oh, because there was no final MVPs at this point in time. That's right. So before 69, there was no final MVPs. But I'm still gonna look this up because I want to know who the hell was on the Sixers at this time. Was this Wilt Chamberlain on the Celtics? If this is Wilt Chamberlain, I'm done. If this is Wilt Chamberlain on the Sixers, I think it is. Hold on. Let me see. 67, right? Yeah, this might be Wilt. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up, man. That's why I stay in research mode, man. Oh, yep, Wilt Chamberlain. Look at that. Wilt Chamberlain. I forgot. I wasn't sure if this was the year he was there. You just got to make sure. Fact check yourself. So in order to win a championship, and then Boston Celtics, they dominated the whole rest of the 60s and the late 50s, okay? All these teams, they had MVPs, first teamers, going back to the beginning of days. So now, forget 44 years. We took it back to the 50s. 1950s, all these teams had first teamers or MVPs that won championships. And now you guys want me to get excited, right? Whoop-de-doo. Only twice in history where you had two coaches that had 50-win seasons, multiple 50-win seasons were fired. That's Tom Thibodeau and George Karl. I went over this on the podcast. What happened to the Denver Nuggets and the Supersonics? The Nuggets got lucky because they drafted Jokic. They got lucky. They were supposed to be terrible to this day. The Seattle Supersonics fell off the map. Dominant team in the 90s. Very dominant in the mid-90s. Fell off the map once they got rid of George Karl. So what history is telling me is that when you fire your coach, and now we on this wild coaching search, and don't worry, we'll talk about the coaching search on Friday. You guys want me to be excited and think that, yeah, we're going to win a championship next year when it hasn't been done. About Ewing. Ewing was the last time we had an All-NBA first teamer. That was 1990. Let that sink in and register. The 90s, based on the conversation I had with my man Ron, Big Dog Talk Sports. By the way, I did see you, Big Dog Talk Sports. If you in the chat, salute to you. We talked about whether or not Patrick Ewing's legacy was messed up due to mismanagement or misfortune. We came to the conclusion that it was mismanagement. It wasn't bad luck. It was, you had 94, right? Jordan was not there. You couldn't capitalize, right? Jordan came back in 95 towards the end of the year, but then you had 99. Jordan wasn't there. So there was opportunities for the Knicks to capitalize, and they didn't capitalize because management did not put the right pieces around you, or, you know, and I listen, I love you. Salute to Patrick Ewing. But they waited to trade him too late. They should have traded him 5 years sooner. There was rumors that they had a deal on the table for Shaquille O'Neal. And they said, no, we don't. Tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. No, we don't want to trade for Shaq because we want to continue to build with what we got. We want to continue to build. And what has that gotten us? That's got us into mediocrity, man. So to all my people that thought, y'all came on here and thought that y'all was going to, and salute to my people. I'm talking about the Knicks Tape Matters Discourse server. I know we watching the playoffs with big open eyes. And we looking at the finals and we're like, oh man, the Pacers are up 2-1. Yo, we don't need to have the superstars. We need to have the team. I went through how many years? We went back to 1958. You don't have a team that doesn't have an MVP or first teamer going back all those years. What are we talking about? If you have the opportunity to get the MVP, you go get him. Let me see what you guys talking about in the chat. Yuri, I had to go to the Plummer era, and I take offense to the Plummer era because when we say those things, it's like we're undermining the history and the people who led us to where we are now. Without these guys doing underhanded free throws and not being able to dunk the ball in college, we wouldn't have the game that we had today. So, but the fact remained then to be true then as it is now. In fact, it reigned to be even more true then because then you had no examples of a team winning a championship without an MVP, without a first teamer. So I'll go back in the history just to show you, right? Like when we look at, oh yeah, no team has ever come back from 3-0. Or when we look at, only 13 teams or 12 teams won a series when they were down 3-1. And we're looking at that thinking, well, yeah, we're going to be the one to override the odds. No, the odds are there for a reason. That's why the bookies and the sports betting companies are in big business, because when we make picks, we're going to lose most of the time. It's big business. Because you know why? Because it's all about the odds. And the odds are telling you, if you don't got this, if you don't got the Jason Tatum, the Jokic, the Currys, the Giannis, the LeBron, the Kawhi, the KD, the LeBron, Andre Iguodala, solid player, but we know that Steph Curry was the man on this team, and he probably deserved to get the Finals MVP. But salute to Andre Iguodala nonetheless for putting in work, because he was an integral part to that team. The Kawhi Leonards, the LeBrons, the Dirks, the Kobes, the Paul Pierces, the Tony Parkers. Well, Tim Duncan, but at this point, Tony Parker took over. D Wade. If you don't got those guys, you don't win championship. Simple. You guys want to continue going with guys who are not on that level and think you're going to win. I'm just dealing with facts. That's who I am, the objective fan. I am not the objective stan. I used to, back in the 90s when I was younger, yo, man, we going to win, man. Going into the early 2000s, the same 90s mentality, yo, we going to win. To the final second of an elimination game, the Bulls is up big. In my mind, we could come back because I bleed orange and blue. I love the Knicks. But you're trying to go up against Jordan and Hakeem and Duncan, and you don't got none of those guys on your squad. No offense to Ewing, but there's tears here. He just wasn't on that tear. Sorry. And you know what? Ewing probably would have been on that tier if he was on another team. If Ewing was in another team, he might have won a championship. New York City, I don't know. We just don't do a great job of managing the team to get us over the hump because we're content with building, and it's just, to me, it's not good enough anymore. Outspoken introvert Iggy won the Finals MVP for holding LeBron to 35, 13, and 8. Yeah, that's a, I salute to Andre Iguodala, but come on, man. That was Steph's. It is what it is. We know who was the man on that team. That's why I appreciate Leon taking chances. What chances did Leon take, HIM? What chances is he taking? He's trying to, Leon Rose wants me to believe, right, that we going to come in next year with Johnny Bryant or some other coach that never coached before. We don't got no first teamer, no superstar, and now y'all wanted me to believe we going to win a championship. See, I don't care about Eastern Conference Finals no more. Out the window, in the trash for me. The brother went on record with a report saying that our singular focus is to win the championship. So that's where my focus is. Anything else for me is a loss and a losing effort. That's just the way I see it. Like I said, the last call for calls, 646-995-8389. I wasn't going to take calls, but I just figured some of you guys might want to call in to add your take. HRM, the NBA don't like Dolan. I do agree with that. HRM, Mikkel, Cat, HIM, how much further would we have been if we would have did a Giannis trade last year, or we would have went after another big name caliber player? Hello, caller. State your name. Where you calling from? You catching me on the way out?
From Brooklyn. Yeah.
Salute my man J Tap.
That's good. No,
Hey,
I was going to
man.
call in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So let's go.
Right.
You know, I know you in the chat. You've been listening very intently. I got two topics, man. Which topic you want to tackle first? Do you want to talk about the overachieving? What do you want to talk about?
We can start with the overachieving. For me personally,
yeah, you personally, how you got it?
The regular season, I was thinking 50 plus because
Right.
it is what it is because it's regular season, whatever. But in the postseason, I said second round. You know what I mean? I said second round. My bad, ECF. I'm sorry about that, ECF. Because
ECF.
I was thinking we'd be facing Boston in the ECF, and we couldn't beat them. I'll keep it 100. But as far as what you're talking about, as far as the MVP and stuff like that, and as far as what you believe in, as far as the Knicks,
yeah.
So this year in the playoffs, did you believe it could beat Detroit?
Oh, yeah, I thought we was gonna beat them. I thought we was actually. I didn't go on record, but I was like, yo, we're gonna sweep them.
Right.
But I thought 5 games. 5 games.
All right, then second round, do you think we beat Boston?
I did it. Hey, I did a 10 reasons why we could beat them in 7. So I picked the Knicks in 7. I did.
And I know you thought we could beat Indy. So my thing is, you did believe we can win a chip with this team, and that's the only thing.
No,
in the moment of 2024, 2025, we all believe we can win a chip this year, despite whatever the All NBA, MVP, or whatever. We all believe.
Even if I give you that, right?
Right.
This MVP, a realization came very recently. So
Yeah.
you remember, this is a new phenomenon for me because I'm here. No, actually, no, I'm gonna take it back. I had the thought for a while, but I wasn't going to be a negative Nancy because there was no reason to be negative, right? There's no reason to try to put your team down. I was giving us a shot. But when he fired Tibbs and he gave the statement that's when I said, okay, yeah, I got it. Enough is enough.
And you know what?
Enough is enough.
I can't even front because I was fighting history too, because I believe we can win with Brunson or whatever, because I don't really believe in the theory of MVP and all the qualifications you put forth. And I did my research too. I look back and you're right. You're 100% right. You can't win one without one of them guys. There's been Detroit, and that's it.
Guys.
You know what I mean?
And maybe Indiana. We don't even know. It's still, or it's not over yet.
And I tell you what, my guy, before the playoffs started, I wanted Indy to win just to prove he falls. But you know what? I don't want Indy to win that bad no more. You know what I mean? You win. I want him to lose. You're right. SJ, take it home, baby. I don't want Indy to win that bad to prove you wrong. You know what I mean? But but my thing is, my guy, you know what? Man. You're right. You're 100% right. But I guess my next question is, I mean, to go off topic just a little bit, who do you want? You say Giannis, but at what cost do you want this guy to come to our team just to maybe win a championship?
Man, listen, my motto. You know the motto, man. You know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, on the front and not the. I got you. You vote for some front and not the back. I get it.
No, it's anyone, but not everyone. Let that sink in and register. It's anyone, but not everyone.
I got you.
We slow that down. Yeah, anyone, but not every. But also too, J-Top, realistically, in order for it to happen, it wouldn't be us offering the package. It would be Giannis saying, I want to come to New York. If he doesn't want to come, then it's not going to happen.
All right. So from what I'm reading in the tea leaves, I don't think he's going to come.
No.
And I want to get into that too, as far as like the mainstream media versus, like online stuff. The only reason why I got into online stuff is because the mainstream media is garbage. Everything I see about the Knicks is garbage because I watch them all the time and it don't make no sense. And I'm all the way in Cali, so I have no Knicks fans around me. So the only way I can get the real about Knicks is online. It's like online content. So
salute to you for that.
Yeah, for me, so I base my opinion on not what I see on online content as far as the Knicks creators, but from me and some outside influence, not from the mainstream media, but from guys like you and whoever else I listen to on online or whatever, or Twitter or whatever.
Right.
And that's just me. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's why we here. That's why I do what I do, because like when you're watching ESPN, the people who really pay attention to the Knicks, you don't even see them on, like, they're behind the scenes. The people you see on TV, they're just figureheads, Stephen A's and the people like that. Like Stephen A covers so many sports, there's no way he could watch all the games, right? There's no way he it's not even possible. So
exactly.
These people are giving commentary when they're not even watching the game. And that's my biggest problem, especially with TNT, with those guys at halftime.
Thank God they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah, these guys, you're not even watching. Like, how you going to say, like Shaq literally said, the Pistons are going to beat the Knicks. And I swear to God, I'm pretty sure he hadn't watched not one Piston Knick game. Not one. And he probably didn't watch the damn Piston game because they wasn't even on TV.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you're right.
How you gonna pick a team you didn't even watch them play? Like, you don't even, I sat there, I watched at least 8 games, condensed games, before I go do my 10 keys to victory. My 10 keys to victory is based off the stuff that I watch in the games.
Right.
It's not just I'm just sitting there, So yeah, I mean, this is why we here. This is why we do what we do, man. And I'm gonna keep rocking, man. I'm not stopping. I love doing it. I love talking to Knicks. Like right now, my family, they out of it right now. This is my time to shine.
That's right.
So, you know what I'm saying? That's why I like doing the after midnight streams. People are like, oh, why you go stream late? Because I'm a family man. Once they asleep, that's when I got time to do stuff like this. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's still early for me.
But, you in Cali, so yeah, it's not too late. It's not too late. Mm-hmm.
So what? As far as your parameters are concerned, like, who do you want to come here to New York that you think will bring us a championship, despite the coach, no matter who the coach is?
So I'm not sure if you heard earlier, right? I said that I'm going to record an optimistic video, and it's going to really be focused on Brunson, because the one angle I gave y'all, and I always gave y'all this, and I said it many times, was that you could come to me and say, well, Brunson should have been a first teamer, right? 2 years ago, the last season, he should have been a first teamer without a doubt. He was incredible. 29, 7, I mean, he led the Knicks, all the injuries. I don't see how he wasn't a first teamer. He was 5th in MVP voting. So, Brunson should have been a first teamer, and he still could be a first teamer, right? So that right there is our saving grace. That's what I'm holding on to.
I feel you, my guy. But my thing is like, the all
That's
the
what I'm
all
trying.
the first.
That's what we
The
got
first
right
teamer,
now,
the
guys.
first teamer thing to me is like, you know what? I get it, but the MVP thing to me, and like the finals MVP thing to me, has a little more credence to it versus the all NBA team, because those are like, actual on court, if it makes any sense, stuff like that. But either way, what
Well,
just
the
right,
reason why, okay, because remember, you don't win the MVP every year,
right,
right? So that's why you can't just say MVP, because one, you don't have that many MVPs, right? Two, a lot of the first teamers that have won championships, like Tatum, he's only there like 4 or 5 times. So he ain't just a one-time first teamer.
right.
Like,
I got
he's
you.
there consistently every year, and it's a shame that he's not considered MVP only because Boston is as good as they are. But we're gonna see how valuable he is next season when he's
Yeah, I
not
feel you.
there. That now we're gonna be like, damn, because I got Boston as a play. I ain't gonna lie. I think they're gonna be a playing team. That's just how I see it. Will it happen? I don't know. But I think they're gonna be a playing team. I think they're gonna struggle without Jason Tatum, and we're gonna really see what Jaylen Brown's about. Because a lot of people think he's the best player, and I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to believe. But
So, what was the second topic before I go real quick?
we talked about the overachieving and then the
Okay.
stars.
I
But
got you.
as far as the overachieving, just to touch on that a bit, right? My like, when we say overachieve, I think that should just be a personal thing to you, because
sure.
everyone has different expectations. Like we said it on the show, and I'm pretty sure you tuned into it.
Yeah. I did.
I said 55 wins, right? I said that the Knicks will go to the conference finals against Boston, because at the time we didn't know the regular season champions, the Cleveland Cavaliers, not to be confused with the in-season tournament champions. I didn't know those guys were going to appear, right? So I didn't know those guys were going to be as good as they were. So I always thought the Knicks were going to go to the conference finals, which is another reason for, like, I believe the reports there's tension and beef with the coaching, and we're going to talk more about coaching on Friday. But at the same time, I still feel like, they should have gave Tibbs another year, but maybe it just was irreparable, the damages from the relationship between he and Rose, and between he and the other front office guys, and between he and some of the players. So it's just, now we got to get another coach. And now I'm really like trying to hold on to optimism, but it's very difficult.
Man, and another thing I noticed about Leon Rose and his franchise, they like the drama, and they're really petty. Do you remember when before Brunson came to the team, when they went to the game with Brunson and Mitchell? You remember that game
You said
before
Brunson
yeah,
Brunson got here.
yeah. It was a Dallas and Utah game, I believe. And Leon Rose and Worldwide, they went to the game and sat courtside and watched them play. You remember that?
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. I think I remember that. Is
I'm just
that
tell-
is that what was that
Go ahead.
part of the reason why we got hit with the tampering?
That's part of it. I'm talking about a history of Leon Rose being petty, as far as, like, dragging stuff out for the drama and things like that.
Okay.
They're gonna hire Bryant. They want
Oh, God.
the back page splashes from New York. The Twitter responses and to keep the Knicks names out there. But they're gonna hire Johnny Bryant. And the more
I just hope
sorry.
I just hope we're a top 14. Go ahead.
And I think that even looking back on it, Rose and them, they draft the players So they don't really need Johnny Bryant to like, have any input on the draft or anything like that. So I think they're gonna drag it out to maybe before summer league, maybe around then.
Oh boy, I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I really do think that that's the wrong move prematurely. It could work. It could work, but off the just like my prediction, the reason why I know this town, I know you fans, you guys are gonna tear him apart.
Well, yeah.
And he said, "Well, yeah."
It's in his contract. I think it's in fine print. Yeah, read the
Oh
fine
my
print, my
god!
guy.
And it's very like it's easy to say, oh yeah, I got tough skin, but that job, the Lakers job, that job, and probably Boston job, the hardest jobs in basketball because even though the Knicks are not on the Lakers and Boston's level in terms of winning, but notoriety and expecting championships, like the Knicks are always talking championships and winning,
I don't know
even
why.
when we don't got a good team.
My bad.
But so
I get we talk about it, but man, after looking at the list of MVPs and all that other stuff, I was ready to shoot some darts at you, but I looked and the captain was the only one that won the MVP. We only have one in our entire history.
in our
And man,
entire history,
it's looking bleak. It's looking bleak. I don't get.
and we wonder why we had it won in 50 years. Like,
Yeah.
like I mean,
My God, it's 50. I was born in the year of championship, so it's 53 years. Trust me. I'm keeping count.
come on, like
Yeah. You're right.
And I'm not saying it to be negative. I'm saying it to be realistic because I'm the objective fan, and this is why I was pushing for Giannis. I don't care about what you have to get because the Lakers are going to show you. They're going to show you what champions do. They get Luka. All those other guys going to be gone. Austin Reeves. 2 years, that Laker team going to be way different from the way it is now. And they're going to get another player, maybe not a first teamer. They don't need a first teamer. They just need another star that can complement Luka. And they're going to go from there. Then they could build the team around it. But we want to just get some good players instead of getting a star player and build around. So yeah, that's all.
I got you.
Jay.
Yeah.
But I'll let you get your final words out, man. I know it's late.
Yeah, I think I said all I need to say. I gotta go. The family's calling. Peace.
All
Go
right,
Knicks.
Jay, man. Salute, man. Let's go
Yeah.
Knicks, man. See you Friday. All right. That was my man J Tap from the Bay. From BK to the Bay. Let me see. Knicks one. Oh, salute the Knicks 100, man. Good to see you, man. Well. Look at us firing coaches like we won a ring. Knicks will 100. I'm riding with you. Like on this subject, me and Knicks 100, we agree. Like for real, seriously. You know what I'm saying? And Knicks 100, like, what are we going to? How are we going to win a championship next season? Because remember, the great Leon Rose, right? And I love Leon Rose, but I'm holding him accountable. He said that our single pursuit is a championship, Knicks 100. I don't understand it, man. But you know what? Before I get on out of here, Knicks 100, I see, it's not going to happen. Brother, listen, man, this is why I'm trying to prepare the fans because they realistically believe that we actually have a chance to win, but that's not the way the basketball works. I went through, Knicks 100, I'm not sure if you was here, but I went back to 1958 to show them that no team in NBA history has done what we're trying to do. I didn't even really touch on the firing coaches aspect because please don't let me get in my bag with that. Don't tell me over. There's teams that won the championship when they fired their coach. Please don't do that. It's not going to be good for you, right? And the reason why it's not going to be good for you is because those teams had elements that we don't have. And I'm going to just give you a hint. It's the element that I've been talking about for the past hour. But before I get on out of here, I changed my vote. What? Let me not change my vote. Anyway, I do want to show you guys about the channel membership. If you are a subscriber, you've been rocking with me, man, consider joining the channel. It comes with perks. So when you join, you're not just, this is not just a donation. This is actually, exclusive content that I do for the members. Tonight's show was supposed to be a members only chat, but I decided to open it up, and I'm gonna do some more stuff for the members. The members get a lot already, but one of the things you do when you join the channel membership is you get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, which is a closed off server. Salute to everybody who has, or who's a part of open servers. I don't open up my server to everyone because there's a lot of trolls, and I don't want to micromanage that. So the people who are in the server are supporters, and we have great conversations. Salute to my man Knicks will be champs 25-26, Yuri, J-Tap, who just called, JJP, NYC. I mean, we all up in there. It's a bunch of us, and we have great conversation. We talk about the Knicks 24/7. It's a great way to extend the conversation with me. Also, we talk about other sports as well. We talk about every sport, damn near, right? We got a server for every sport. But that's one of the things you get when you join the channel membership. It's not the only thing you get when you join the channel membership. Of course, all the members get the cool badges, the stars. That's how I know who's who in the chat. I look for the star, and those are my people. So we do members only live chats. Like tonight's show, I opened it up, but tonight's show was supposed to be a members only live chat. And I usually do those shows when I'm trying to be laser focused. I don't want to, to be into the chat, because I like to interact with the chat. You guys be saying some good stuff. So sometimes I like to zone in, and if the members got something to say, I'll talk to them, but I just want to get this content out, especially when I do my 10 Keys show, and I'm going to be doing more 10 Keys show as the future hits. Now, members get priority reply to comments. I get a lot of comments, right? I'm on a lot of different platforms, and then I got Discord. So it's so much commentary that I don't get to respond to everybody because I'm moving, shaking, and popping. But when I see my members, every time they post a comment, I'm always going to respond, right? Because those are my people. So sometimes you might see some that you want me to reply to, and this is the best way to get my attention. Also, I have this Unfiltered Thought series. I think I'm going to record one tonight. I think I have a topic, but the Unfiltered Thought series is basically me recording exclusive content for members that is not really for YouTube. It's not that I use foul language and stuff like that, but sometimes, like this take that I had tonight, a lot of it came from an unfiltered thought that I had about the Giannis trade. And if you are a member, you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But yeah, I get like, this deep in my thoughts. I usually record around 3 a.m. So, nighttime is just when I'm just naturally a vampire, because, my family is up. I'm very in tune to the family. So at night when they're sleeping, this is my time to play and have fun. So that's one of the things I do. Also, I'm outside. I'm hooping, right? So I'm gonna be doing lives from the court. I'm gonna take y'all to Brooklyn. I'm gonna show you guys where I hoop at. And yeah, we gonna have fun. I'm gonna be doing more pop-up spontaneous members only lives as well. Members also always get shouted out. Salute to the members always. I appreciate the members. And also, members get discount on the merch. So I didn't go to the shop tonight, but it's cool. This big Bodega Cat shirt right here, right? You can definitely go check it out. shop.theobjectiveknickfan.com. I actually had the carousel playing to the right of me or left of me. Aspect ratios off, whatever. But you could definitely go to shop.theobjectiveknickfan.com, or even shop.thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, or even just thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. You'll be able to find everything that I have going on, from the merch shop to the hats, links to the hats you see on the shelves. Everything is on thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. But members, more importantly, get discounts on that stuff. So, but that's all I want to share as far as the membership, man. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit the like button. And I do got the chat and subscriber only mode. So yeah, I think going forward, that's going to be my minimum. You want to chat, at least subscribe. And then when we do the member only live chats, then it will be just for members and mods. Let me see what you're talking about next 100 before I get up out of here, man. I appreciate you, Knicks 100. Let me see. We can make noise if Cat can be the Cat before the injury, but ring, nah. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're winning the championship. But if we don't win the championship, does Leon Rose get Coach Tibbs' hot seat? I dropped the clip on that, by the way, from the pod. Go check that out. Did Leon Rose inherit Coach Tibbs' hot seat? It's a really good question because a lot of you guys were coming for Coach Tibbs' head, but now he's not here. So if things don't work out, who are you going to blame? I can only imagine how many pain he felt. Well, he got surgery. He took care of the knee and the finger. So he should be good to go next season. And he still had a career year at Knicks 100. He was never an all-star starter, and he was an all-NBA third-teamer. I thought he should have been a second-teamer, but that's another topic. Outspoken introvert. There's a lot of media bias in the all-MVP NBA votes now more than ever. Yeah, but outspoken introvert. Let's go through it. See, this is I love it. I appreciate the pushback, and I'm gonna wrap up on this. But look, I'm gonna pull it up for you so we can look at the politics, right? Right? We gonna look at the politics because you do have a point. There is politics in the sport, but one thing that remains true throughout all the politics, and when we look at champions, they got one thing in common. Hold on. List of all NBA team awards. I want to show you some throughout the politics because one thing we know about coffee, when you put the cream there, it's always going to rise to the top. Always going to rise to the top. Let me see. Nope. This is not it. I had a great website. I think this might have been Basketball Reference. Let me see. Nah, it wasn't. Hold on. Let me back out of here. Let me I'm gonna go through this list. I had the list somewhere. I don't know where I had it at. Oh man, let me see. Okay, perfect. So this is what I love about when you look at history and you notice patterns and trends. So look at the first team in 2025. Giannis, Jokic, Mitchell, Tatum, SGA. How many of you guys think that first team is wrong? That first team in 2025. Maybe you could argue Brunson should have been there over Mitchell because Brunson was on the second team. But Mitchell had a great year. You know, the Cavs were the regular season champions. So it's hard to take Mitchell off that team. We also know we got the 65 game rule, which is a new rule, right? I still don't think it impacts this because it's consistent with who wins the championship. I don't think Indiana's going to win the championship, but if let's say Indiana does win the champion, it's only 2 times in going back to 1958. Have you had a team win a championship without a first teamer or MVP? But look at 2024. Giannis, Jokic, Doncic, Tatum, SGA. Does anyone have a problem with the 2024 list? Now, argument could be made again that Brunson should have been there over Tatum, but it is what it is. Do those guys, all 5 of those guys in the 2024 list belong there? 2023 list, Giannis, Embiid, Doncic, Tatum, SGA. Notice how all of these names, besides Embiid and Luka, they all champions. They all champions. Now, 2022, Giannis, Jokic, Booker. I don't know if Booker should have been on that team, but let him rock. Doncic, Tatum. So maybe Booker is the only one you would take off that team. So when you talk about the politics, it has nothing to do with the cream rising to the top. And as we can see, every year, these guys are winning championships, period. Rest my case. No, we don't. No. The narrative doesn't change, outspoken introvert, because the NBA is a league that's built on stars. In order to win championship, you need star players. That's just how it is. The Lakers know that better than anybody else. That's why the Lakers consistently win championships throughout the decades. You know, so it's nothing to tweak. I think that us as Knicks, you know, Leon Rose, you know, he's the guy, right? He's the guy for the job. I'm banking on him to do the right thing. I'm rooting for the Knicks, but I'm realistic. And for me, if we don't win the championship this year, Leon Rose is on the hot seat. Technically on the hot seat right now. But for sure, if we don't win the championship, let me see. And I'm going to wrap up. I appreciate all you guys, man. Salute to the chat for rocking. 1:57 in the morning. Yeah, I wanted to do another live because I've been promising the members I do a live, but then I wind up opening it up. Don't worry, members. I'm gonna do something for you guys. But I do appreciate you guys. I felt like tonight's topic, both topics were very important because people really do say that we overachieve. I think that is just subjective. Everyone has the right to their opinion. So why is my opinion better than yours? What makes ESPN the holy grail of predictions? I don't understand it. So because they write an article saying you overachieve, does that mean that you overachieved? To me, it just doesn't make any sense. You are what your record is, period. Our expectations, mean nothing. Like we predict mostly wrong every time, right? In terms of, you can't say with the parity that exists in the league confidently that this team will win versus that team, because a lot goes on into a season. Look at Tatum with the torn with the Achilles. Look at Dame Lillard with his situation, right? Garland, a lot of unpredictable circumstances. So you don't know how good a team is going to be. It's fun to talk about it, but let's not act like your standard is the standard for the final result. And that's what happens when we say they overachieve, underachieve. If you keep it based on what your standard was, that's why I asked everybody, what would you predict the Knicks would do? And according to you, the Knicks overachieve. But it's not a grand unifying standard. And to be honest, you are what your record is. So I want to give a big time salute to all the callers. My man JJ, Yuri, salute to them. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel member. Right? Salute to my man J-Tap, Knicks Tape Madness channel member. Mod too. One of the first mods, J-Tap. Salute to J-Tap. Salute to everybody in the chat. Quiet Money, I see you. This is a fake ass hot seat. Well, like I said, for me, it's my own personal hot seat. I know y'all don't have him on the hot seat. Y'all love everything Leon Rose does. But for me personally, he's technically on the hot seat. But I'm giving him to the end of the year because he said we're going to win a championship. Salute to Knicks 100. You say he has 10 plus in his career? Oh, yeah, you talking about Cat. Salute to you. Salute to Yuri, J-Tap, Quiet Money for sure. Salute to you, man. Big time salute. Big time salute to my man JJ in the chat calling up. E. Gibson. Oh, my God. Salute to E. Gibson in the building. Salute to my man Yuri, of course, once again. HRM the Great, I see you. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel member. No Maxine. Well, she's out. Maxine is knocked out. Salute to Crim's dad. I know he probably passed out too. He don't like it when I do the late show. Salute to Crim's dad. That's all I got for you guys tonight. I will be back Friday. Next call-up show, same time, same place, 10:45. I look forward to seeing you guys there. And that's all I got for you tonight. And until next time, as always, no matter what, let's go Knicks.